And now Wisconsin's voter ID law and a question. Have recent court rulings created uncertainty or even confusion as voters head to the polls on Tuesday and again on November 8th? To be clear, Wisconsin's law, which requires voters to show a photo ID at the polls, is still intact. But last month, a federal judge in Milwaukee ruled that voters who lack a valid photo ID can sign an affidavit to vote in November. And just 10 days ago, another federal judge struck down other voting laws state Republicans had passed, including limits on early voting hours and a longer residency requirement. But the Wisconsin Department of Justice is contesting those rulings. We're talking about all of this today with Mark Thompson. He is an attorney, and he's the new chairman of Wisconsin's new Elections Commission. Mark Thompson, it's good to have you on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is really the first test for the new Elections Commission. How do you feel going into Tuesday's election?
We are very confident that the election will go as smoothly as the elections in the last few years have gone. Michael Haas is the administrator of the day-to-day operations of the Election Commission. The procedures in place are unchanged, and so we're confident that it's going to go smoothly. We've got 87,000 absentee ballots out, 60,500 already back. So, you know, bring it to the ballot.
So on Tuesday, and I think this is important to reiterate, the law, the voter ID law, remains intact for Tuesday's election. What does that mean for voters?
It means you have to bring your, photo ID to the ballot. You must bring it. It's going to apply. Now, if you don't have it or you forget it, there'll still be provisional ballots, but then 3 days after you vote, you have to bring in your voter ID, the legit ID, to make it happen.
So let's talk about what happens come November 8th. And I mentioned in the lead-in to this interview that we have a situation where we've had a lot of different developments in the courts given the voter ID law, and that there is the potential for confusion when people go to the polls on November 8th. Do you share that concern?
I think the confusion generally is what is going to happen on the appeal level. If there is a stay on those decisions, November's election will happen just like Tuesday's election. If the stay isn't upheld and we have to make the modifications as required by the two federal judges, we are ready to go in terms of the Election Commission. The joint finance that put together, there's $250,000 to do voter ID education. There's funds internally that we built in to modify that whole campaign between now and November. In the event we have to address the affidavit position. So we're ready to go on that end. So it's the second decision is going to be, I think, the dicier one, because we have deadlines coming up with absentee ballots and forms and the length of residency, whether it's 28 days to 10, and that impacts a lot of clerks because they're getting ready to print documents that it says 28 days now, it may go to 10. So it's not necessarily confusion, but it's the issue of the timeliness of a response so we can get ready.
So the sooner there's some resolution, or at least some certainty in this case, the better in terms of being able to prepare for November.
Right. As a defendant in the suit in my official capacity, we're under orders to do certain things. And I would ask that the Seventh Circuit decide these issues as quickly as they reasonably can, because if we do have to make changes, we need to do them very, very quickly.
I raised the potential confusion issue, but I want to raise another issue with you. One of the candidates in the presidential race, Donald Trump, said in the last week that he's concerned that the election could be rigged and that we might not have real numbers on the day of the election. What does that add to the job that the commission is trying to do in terms of having a fair, accurate election?
The elections in Wisconsin over the last 20 years, I don't recall an allegation that the elections were rigged at any point in time. To the extent there's been voter fraud. It's been de minimis, and that's part of the whole litigation. There is no evidence that anything is rigged. As far as I know, the Elections Commission, the staff, everybody is determined to allow every eligible voter in the state access to vote, fair and efficiently. And so any allegations of that the election is rigged is, I don't know what that person is talking about.
Do you worry
frankly.
that some people could stay home on Election Day because of that belief that maybe their vote doesn't count?
You know, why people stay home on Election Day is something that we'd all like to know, right? I mean, we'd all like to have everyone out and vote. To the extent institutionally our voting structure is challenged or it's implicated that it's somehow not fair or it's rigged, it does discourage people. And I think we should be encouraging people to vote and build confidence in our institutions as opposed to demeaning them. It doesn't serve our country well to do that.
I want to ask you, as the chairman of the new Elections Commission, there was an Elections Commission, and it was replaced by the Government Accountability Board because people didn't think it was working terribly well. So now we have this new iteration of the Elections Commission. Why should people be confident this will be better than what once existed?
You know, this whole question of what's better.
Yeah.
Frankly, I'm just going to avoid the whole point because I'm not going to weigh in whether the old Elections Commission was better than the GAB or the GAB is somehow better than what is. My presumption, and I think the 6 commissioners share this, is that it's our job to provide up-to-date, state-of-the-art elections to allow every eligible voter that wants to vote in the state of Wisconsin. Whether you're in Washira County, where my mother lives, relatively, you know, it's a rural place, not as wealthy as Waukesha County. You have to make sure that people there have access to the votes. And in the city where I live, that every African American, every white, every Latino has access to it. Our job is to do that. And so our working presumption is that we're going to work together and do that. And so I'm very optimistic.
Mark Thompson is the new chairman of the Wisconsin Elections Commission. It's good to have you on the program. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you very, very much.
So again, a reminder for Tuesday. You will need to show a photo ID to vote in the primary. And because it's a primary, you can only vote for candidates in one party. There's no jumping back and forth between parties on a Wisconsin primary ballot. Coming up next on Up Front, we'll do a deep dive into the 1st Congressional District Republican primary, Paul versus Paul. And remember, for political news and information throughout the week, you can follow me at Mike Boucher on Twitter.